To talk more about the Temple Mount and the religious and political challenges that it poses for the Israeli government, we're now joined by Eric Mandel. Eric is the director of the Middle East Political Information Network. Eric, good to have you back on the show with us. Is Israel trying to change the status of the Temple Mount?
Absolutely not. Israel realizes that this is an incendiary issue if they did. It goes back to 1967, Moshe Dayan, when they was said that the Temple Mount is back in our hands. They brought down the Israeli flag. They gave control back with the hope that this would, as you would say, placate, appease the Muslims, that they were not looking to change the religious status of what's there. So nobody wants to change it except for some far extremists, who are there, who sort of get painted as representative of even Jewish religious leaders. The problem that's what's really happened is that there's been a radicalization of Muslims up on the Temple Mount. Turkey is a big supporter of this. You have groups from basically the Muslim Brotherhood within Israel who come down that pay women to harass worshipers. I've been on the Temple Mount a number of times. I've been challenged and harassed. Somebody spoke Hebrew that I was with. And so it is a very difficult situation. And you would think that here in the States, where we believe in tolerance, that more progressive minds would be upset the fact that in Judaism's holiest site, Jews are not allowed to pray equally or in some place.
And often restricted entirely. And that's now the situation that's leading some Jews to push for greater access, correct? So where does that stand now?
Well, first of all, it's official. When you come up Makori Gate to come in, you will see a sign that says Jews should not be allowed to come up here because you don't know where the Holy of Holies is and that you might desecrate it. But there's been a growing movement over the last 30 years or so of Jews going up saying, we know where the Holy of Holies, we're not exactly sure where it is, but we know where it's not, and we can go to those places without desecrating that area. But the problem is that the Temple Mount has been used for incitement for many, many years. It started back in 1927 in the Hebron riots. It was many times in the 90s. Hundreds of people have been killed in the name because it's an easy thing to incite for political purposes that the Jews are taking it over. President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority talked about the filthy Jewish feet that are up there, called for days of rage. So what's happened in the Islamization, the Palestinian Authority talks about the Judaization of Jerusalem, but the Islamization of the Temple Mount, which it used to be just Al-Aqsa, now they've turned the whole Temple Mount into a Muslim, and that there maybe was no Jewish presence up there ever.
Well, we know historically that is clearly not the case, as we just established. But yeah, yet another flashpoint in the region. Thank you so much, Eric Mandel. Appreciate it.